Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Pragya ma'am, Smita ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Pragya
ma'am.
ma'am, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Namaskar. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
welcome,
ma'am.
welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, everybody. So, Priyam, I mean Smita ma'am, are we all set? Shall we go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will just give a small introduction about yourself. Let me share the video.
Ms. Smitha, with 13 years of teaching experience, is a dedicated middle school math teacher. She also works with students from the National Institute of Open Schooling. Her passion for mathematics and commitment to nurturing young minds make her an invaluable asset in the education field. Ms. Smitha employs effective strategies to engage her students in meaningful learning experiences. Ms. Smitha has been associating with BTAG for more than 4 years. Hearty welcome, Ms. Smitha. The stage is yours. Please proceed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for the warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. Warm greetings from ExtraMile Education and Training. ExtraMile is a dedicated and exclusive platform established by the founder of BTAG, Dr. Abdul Salam. It provides online and offline training sessions by a pool of efficient resource persons and subject experts, empowering the educators nationwide. Before I move on, I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam for providing me the opportunity to moderate the session. On behalf of ExtraMile, I extend a very warm welcome to our respected resource person for the day, Ms. Pragya Nopani, our Program Director, Dr. Abdul Salam, Dr. Biju S. Pillai, co-founder of BTAG, and all participants present here. It's indeed a great pleasure to have each one of you. The man behind the education revolution, Dr. Abdul Salam, needs no introduction. He is a renowned CBSE resource person and a master trainer. He has been associated with National Accreditation Board for Education and Training under Government of India as an assessor. He is the founder and CEO of BTAG. Sir is presently working as the principal of Vibjor High, Bangalore. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I kindly request you to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Smita. Respected resource person of today, Pragya ma'am, and all respected educators, hearty welcome to ExtraMile Educational Training. Well, ExtraMile feels especially blessed today because of the presence of Ms. Pragya Nopani, who has been serving the education fraternity for many decades. And participants, you might have noticed that we play voice quotes from eminent personalities. And today I noticed Gandhiji's one of the quotes. It says, if you want, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And I think this is about our own Pragya Nopani ma'am, who has been with science teachers, especially physics teachers, very actively, proactively serving the physics teachers community. And that ExtraMile feels very much glad and elated to share the platform with Pragya ma'am. And on behalf of everybody, I take this opportunity to thank Pragya ma'am for offering this session. We are pretty sure that you will like this, enjoy the session very much. Thank you so much for joining, and let us sit back and enjoy. Over to the moderator.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we begin today's session, there are a few pointers I would like to mention for the smooth conduct of the program. Kindly make your device camera switched on and keep your mics on mute. Any queries regarding the session can be posted in the chat box. We have a dedicated question and answer session towards the end, where you can clarify your doubts by virtually raising your hands and wait for your turn to be called. Kindly note that certificate and feedback link will be shared in the chat box at the end of the session. Participants will have the opportunity to get the certificates only after filling the feedback form. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be available for later references. Hope you all have subscribed ExtraMile channel so that you get updates on regular basis. A humble request, please stay connected till the end. Incorporating art into education supports the holistic development of students addressing their emotional, social, and cognitive needs. CBSE has announced Learning Through Art Integration as a training theme for academic session 2024-25. Today, we will dive deep into the topic, Art Integrated Learning in Physics, through a variety of art-integrated teaching strategies. With great honor, I would like to welcome our resource person for the day, Ms. Prakhya Nopani, coordinator of Birla Vidya Niketan, in association with Indian Association of Physics Teachers, where we explore physics through experimentation. Ma'am is a recipient of so many awards and accolades, like National Award for Teachers 2017, conferred by the Vice President of India, State Award for Teachers 2016, Honor Roll by Association of Science and Technology Centers, Washington, Lifetime Achievement Award 2018, Best Teacher Guide for Best Investigatory Project. Ma'am is also a subject matter expert for NCERT school textbooks, resource person for capacity building workshops, head examiner AISSCE and CBSE, and lot more. Ma'am, we are truly blessed to have you with us today. On the behalf of everyone present here, I wholeheartedly welcome you to today's session. We are all set and the stage is yours. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Abdul Kalam sir and Smita ji, for such warm welcome. I still remember, I think 3 or 4 years back also, we had done something on your another platform, and it was wonderful. So here I am again talking about art integrated learning, especially in physics. I normally like the webinars to be interactive, but since the participants cannot speak, I request you all to kindly write your thoughts on the chat box and I'll be able to see that. So I'll just begin by saying that in this webinar, there are 3 aspects of art integrated learning in physics that I'll be talking about. First one is how the thought process involved in art creation is very similar to the thought process that we want people to have when they are learning physics or when they are going forward in physics. Second is the a glimpse of the best art available in the world, which is connected to physics. And third is how we can implement some of that in our classrooms, how at a much simpler level we can begin with in our classrooms. But since our children are very tech savvy and digitally advanced now, I'm very sure that they'll be able to quickly take it forward. So let me share my PowerPoint presentation. Share sound. Yes. Here it is. Is my screen visible, ma'am? Kindly confirm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. So I introduce a photograph in front of you, and I want you to analyze and tell me what kind of expression do you find on a face. Is she jubilant, or is she sad, or is she tired, or is she looking very energetic? What do you think? Give one word in the chat box, that what does her expression tell you? Whether you find her jubilant or happy or tired or sad, what kind of expression is there? Okay, so deep thinking, confused, tired, sad. All right. The second thing I want you to tell me is, why does she have such an odd position of her hands? Now, all of you try to keep your hands in front of your chest and see whether you feel restful in keeping your hands there. And if not, then why she has kept her hands in such a position? She must be feeling very uncomfortable keeping the hands like this, but yet she has kept them like that. So why do you think, for sitting posture, Miss Prisha is saying, but see, if you'd sit and try to keep your hands there, you will feel very tired. It's unnatural to keep your hands like this and just below your chest like that. She may be having some health problem. Okay, so what kind of health problem do you think she might be having? Okay, she is hiding or holding something. She is not open for situation. Okay, so what you still try and keep your hands and in such a position, and then try to guess why she could be comfortable keeping her hands there. Okay, so till now, nobody has been able to guess. Cramps, she may be counting, sad inside, not showing her emotions. Okay, no, but the hands is something physical. It is not to do with emotions. It is, why is she able to keep her hands like this? We cannot keep it like this. It's not natural, and it's not comfortable. It's not restful position. So how could she keep it like this and yet be, she must be wanting to be restful because she's tired. So she's holding something or she's hiding something, but she's feeding. Okay, not really. Actually, she is carrying the baby in her stomach. And that is the reason why she is keeping her hands like this, because that's the only way she can keep her hands, right? So this is what, uh, this, this, why my cursor is not going for, yeah. So this is art appreciation, and it is called critical art appreciation. What was the thought process that we employed in it? We observed very minutely, then we analyzed, and then we inferred, right? So this is the thought process that went into appreciating this art, this painting critically. Now I go on to another aspect of art, aided learning. Now I'm going to show you two pictures. Now tell me which one depicts cosmos, whether it is the left one or the right one. Write in the chat box R for right or L for left. Which one do you think depicts cosmos? Yes? Left one. So what makes you say that it is the left one which depicts cosmos? What is that feature in that left photograph which enables you to say that it is cosmos? Somebody saying galaxy. Okay, picture of space, galaxy of stars, color. So it is there any color in space there, or is it artificially colored photograph? Prior knowledge. What kind of knowledge? What is that knowledge which enabled you to identify this as a galaxy? Is there any feature of the galaxy here which tells you that it is a galaxy apart from it being shining due to the stars present? Is there something else? The spiral shape. Right. Wonderful. Now, this is an artwork by Fujishita Shosei, and this is named as Cosmos. Can you tell me why he named it as Cosmos? What is that feature here which is fitting the description. Why should Fujitsuka Shosei call it cosmos? Is there any particular feature here which tells us that it must be belonging to the cosmos? Spiral shape, right? That tells us that it is a part of the cosmos because the galaxies have spiral shape and this must be in the cosmos. Very good. Now, this is another of his creations, and he's also saying this is also a depiction of cosmos. So what feature in this particular artwork do you think is showing a characteristic of cosmos? Is there any infinity shape? Right. So it tells us that the cosmos is infinite. This is what this picture is letting us know, that the cosmos is infinite. Okay, now these are again the same artist creations, and in all of them he's depicting cosmos. I want you to tell me which particular feature of cosmos is depicted in this purse. Which particular feature of the cosmos do you think is depicted in this particular purse, this particular creation? Waves. Okay, waves. Not necessarily gravitational waves, but the presence of waves. Wonderful. Right? So then I move on, and the next is this artwork by Alicia Hunsickler. Now, what do you think she's depicting in this painting, which is also named Cosmos? Which features of Cosmos is Alicia Hunsicker depicting in this particular artwork? What do you think? Sine wave, waves, all right. Waves, planets, dual nature, okay. Waves, right, these are water waves, but then these round things, they look quite solid. So they tell us about the presence of matter. That means the universe is made of matter and energy, which is available in form of waves as well as matter. So now going forward, we have this particular dance. Now I want you to look at this.
जटाटवीगलज्जल प्रवाह पावितस्थले कलेवलम्ब्यलम्बितां भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिकान्तमड्डमड्डमड्डमन्निनादवड्डमर्वयं चकार चण्डताण्डवं तनोतु नः शिव शिवम् जटाकटाह सम्भ्रम भ्रमन्निलिम्ब निर्झरी विलोल वीचि वल्लरी विराजमान मूर्धनि धगद्धगद्धगज्ज्वलल्ललाट पट्ट पावके किशोर चन्द्रशेखरे रतिः प्रतिक्षणम् मम जटाभुजंग पिंगल स्फुरत्फणामणि प्रभा कदंब कुंकुमद्रव प्रलिप्त दिग्वधूमुखे मदान्द सिन्धुर स्फुरद्वगुत्तरीय मेधुरे मनो विनोदमद्भुतं बिभर्तु भूत भर्तरि ओम नमः शिवाय.
So what does this dance tell us? This dance tells us the Shiva Tandava and an old belief in our Indian culture that it is Shiva who creates the universe and then destroys it. So the thing that this dance expresses is another aspect of the universe, and that is creation and destruction of the universe. The universe constantly undergoes these, right? So all these artworks that we saw just till here, what has been the process of learning in all these artworks? So again, what we have done, we have minutely observed, or the artist has minutely observed the universe, selected by analyzing the features available or visible in the universe. They have selected some particular feature, and from their analysis, they've inferred about many things, but they've then selected one particular feature, one particular aspect of the universe, and used that to depict the universe, right? Be it dance, be it handicraft, be it painting, whatever. So all these things we have utilized to learn something about cosmos. And since the learning about cosmos has been enhanced by this art, we call it art enhanced learning. But this is yet not art integrated learning. Art integrated learning has one more dimension, and that is that creation of something which addresses the concerns of that particular art form as well as of the subject. Let me give you one example. There was one competition, a shadow competition that we held. It was called And Then There Was Light. We gave to the children these 4 lines. The lines were, there was a lady called Bright who could walk faster than light. One day she went for a walk in a relative way and came back the previous day. So you understand how somebody can come back the previous day. If somebody can walk faster than light, then they will reach before the light reaches, and therefore they can come the previous day. This is a hypothesis. So we gave these 4 lines to children, and we said that you write out a screenplay inspired by these following lines, and you can interpret the lines in any way you like. And after you write the screenplay, you have to present it as a shadow play. And for that act, the act that you present should convey a clear message or a theme. And one screen of white cloth and one stage light will be provided by the school. At least one light source used in the shadow play must be designed and made by the team. The total presentation on stage, including introductory commentary, should not exceed 15 minutes. And the total team size should be between 6 to 12 members. So this is what was the competition. And this was given house-wise. We had 6 houses in our school. And children came up with beautiful screenplays. One was about women empowerment through science of optics. So how they interpreted these lines was, there was a woman who had very revolutionary ideas, and she was ahead of her times. And other people were very jealous of her. And during the screenplay, they projected the shadow of this extraordinary lady by a tall shadow, and other women were shown by smaller shadows. And then they created a light source by keeping KMNO4 in a plate and then pouring glycerin over it. It caught fire. So, they kept these plates in front of these smaller shadows' chest, and they tried to show that all these ladies who did not have the same ideas as the ideas possessed by this revolutionary woman, they were all, their hearts were burning with jealousy. And so that those small, small fires, they were depicting the jealousy in their hearts. Then another screenplay was a socio-political satire, where the title was Oratory Comes Visiting to the Chief of the Party with Hand as a Symbol. So there is a scientist who has made a prototype of something in which when you peep, you can see the future. But he needs money for it. So he goes to all the parties and asks them for funding. And then he goes to this party with a hand as a symbol, and the party chief says, okay, I'll advance you the money provided I be the first one to peep into the future. And then this scientist prepares that, and when the chief peeps into that bowl, then he finds that he is speaking in a large audience, and people are listening to him with rapt attention, and he becomes very popular, and he goes on to win the elections. So he's very happy with the product. And you see, all this is depicted by shadows. This is a podium, and on which there is a speaker. So actually, this is a girl who is becoming a table, and the raised hand is the mic. So like this, children interpreted these lines in different ways. Somebody talked about time travel, somebody talked about people with revolutionary ideas, and so on and so forth. So now here, what was happening? Here, the judges were from three areas. One was people expert in drama and stage presentation. The second one was from English language, and the third one was from physics. So each of the judges were judging whether the objectives of drama and stage presentation were being met or not. The physics judge was seeing whether the presentation was aligned with the concepts in physics theory, and English judge was judging whether the objectives of English language were being met through this presentation or not. So art integrated learning is one where the objectives of the art form as well as the subject, both are being met, both are being given equal weightage, and that is called art integrated learning. So in this also, what is at the core? What is the thought process which is at the core? There is minute observation or there is research work, then there is analysis, then identification of key features, selection of a particular feature, conceptualization of an idea and selection of suitable medium and material, design of artwork, then exploration and experimentation, whether this paint will look good or whether this color will look good, whether the screen, the material on which it is being painted, whether it should be wood or it should be paper or what it should be. And then there is the final creation. But if you look at it carefully, isn't it the same process that we employ in physics also? Because in physics, whenever we want to study something, obviously we have to minutely observe and then research about that particular topic. Then we analyze the situation and we identify what are the different variables, what are the things that can be changed in that particular situation. And then we select out of those variables some variables which we want to study, that if we change one variable, what is the effect on the other variable. So then we conceptualize the idea of the experimentation, we select the suitable materials, we select the suitable equipment, we design the process of the experimentation, we explore, and then we see how the process and the assembly should be set up so that there's minimum error, and then we finalize the experiment, and then when we perform the experiment, again we collect data and we infer something from there. So basically, at the core of art creation, it is the same process that we want to develop even in our scientists. So creating art forms really helps in the thought process or scientific thought process. But how then we are saying that art integrated learning is the right approach? Because it is an approach to teaching in which students construct and demonstrate understanding through an art form. Students engage in a creative process which connects an art form and another subject and meets evolving objectives in both. So this is actually the art integration in education. And the process is that we pick up the topic or idea that we want to teach. We collaborate with art educators to align with art's objectives. We teach the topic, ensuring integrity and balance to both the subjects. And then we assess students' work in both the areas. So this last picture depicts the idea of balance between the objectives of the art form and the objectives of the subject, physics, and they are both balanced when they are kept on a lever. So this is the core idea that I wanted to tell you, that art integration is not just about writing a story or a poem or just making a painting. It is the thought process which is important for taking the students further in developing their scientific thought process. Now I'm taking up one by one different areas of physics, and I'll show you some of the ideas that the world artists have, and some of the ideas that can be directly brought into our classroom. So starting with mechanics, look at this bookshelf by Alice Lay. So wonderfully, she has created it with cardboard, a chart paper, and then there are book covers here. And if you take out one of the books, the writer of the book, the label for the writer of the book stands up here. So isn't this wonderful that you are applying a force here and the motion is created somewhere else? So this could be done easily by our students. How you are going to pull out different labels by picking up different books, that is one mechanism, one challenge which our students have to meet. Here, by pulling only one book by Victor Hugo, which is Les Miserables, which is the favorite book of Alice Lay, one label is getting up. But if we want one label corresponding to each book to stand up, then there is a challenge for us. Then you look at this creation. You know that Hooke and Newton were rivals. They never saw eye to eye with each other. So this is one creation which is showing the history of their rivalry as well as their importance.
Hook on the left, Newton on the right, gives you an equation that's really out of sight. Short and sweet, full of hidden delight, and the string goes up and down, and the string goes up and down. Hooke and Newton were rivals in their day, but partners for eternity is how they have to stay. Minus kx equals ma, and the string goes up and down, and the string goes up and down. Hooke on the left, Newton on the right, gives you an equation that's really out of sight. Short and sweet, full of hidden delight, and the string goes up and down, and the string goes up and down.
So you see here, there were such rivals that Newton did not even allow a single painting of Hooke to survive, even till he died. And only after Hooke died, somebody from the memory painted this picture which you saw on the left. So that was the kind of rivalry that they had. But then they are forever united by this equation minus kx equal to ma, which is the basic equation for all oscillations and then waves, right? So why I am particularly showing this to you? Because our students nowadays are digital natives and they can easily create such kind of animations and such kind of videos. This is in foreign language, but I would love it if children can create it in our own Indian languages, right? Going forward, look at this graph illustration. Here, the graphs are accompanied by some pictures which give you an idea what the graph is all about. If you look at the decorated graph on the left side, this is telling us about electric vehicle sales in the US. So here is the cumulative electric vehicle sales and here is the year. So you can see the sales of the vehicles is going up and up year by year. But just by looking at the graph, you know it has something to do with the vehicles. And then you look at this side, ocean temperature index. If you look at this yellow and orange and red colors, it tells us about something about fire or heat or temperature. So this is what it is telling us, that how year by year the average temperature of the oceans has gone up. Then look at this Ferris wheel. Yeah. So look at the way motion is being created here. When you slide these, this particular transparency with vertical lines, it creates the impression of motion. Isn't it so wonderful to look at? I'm sure our children can also create. But then this raises a wonderful question. Does motion need memory? Because if you did not have the memory of the earlier moment, you would not know that the next moment the position has changed. So does motion need memory for its perception? That is the question that it raises. Now we've been teaching about motion and all the equations of motion and those numericals on that. But here I want to show you a very wonderful aspect of motion, which is in this TED talk. And you will
These
love.
works, we're largely working within the realm of intuition and mystery still. So I'm going to try and describe some of the experiences that we're looking for through each of the works.
Aparna Rao is
So the first
explaining
work
to
is
us
called the
about
Imperial
motion that
Monochromes.
craves
A
our
viewer sort of
attention.
unsuspectingly walks into the room and catches a glimpse of these panels in a messy composition on the wall. Within seconds, as if the panels have noticed the presence of the viewer, they appear to panic and sort of get into a strict symmetry. So this is the sketch of the two states. One is total chaos, the other is absolute order. And we were interested in seeing how little change it takes to move from one state to the other state. This also reminded us of two very different pictorial traditions. One is the altar tablets of the 15th century, and the other is about 100 years ago, Malevich's abstract compositions. So I'm just going to take you through a video to give you a sense of scale. The largest panel is about 2 meters high, that's about this much, and the smallest one is an A4. So viewer enters the space and they snap to attention. And after a while, if the viewer continues to remain in the space, the panels will sort of become immune to the presence of the viewer and become lax and autonomous again, until they sort of sense a presence in the room or a movement when they will again snap to attention. So here it appears as if it's the viewer that's sort of instigating the sense of order among the panels, but it could also be the other way around, that the panels are so sort of stuck within their preconditioned behaviors that they sort of thrust the viewer with the role of a tyrant. So this brings me to a quieter, smaller work called Handheld. The viewer sees a piece of paper that's mounted on the far end of the wall. But when you go closer, you see that it's a blank A4 or a letter-sized piece of paper that's held on either side by two small hands that appears to be carved with a great deal of attention and care from a small block of wood. The viewer also sees that this entire sculpture is sort of moving very slightly, as if these two hands are trying to hold the paper very still for a long period of time, and somehow is not managing to. So this instability in the movement very closely resembles the unsteady nature of images seen through a handheld camera. So here I'm going to show you two random clips. One is through a still camera and the other is through a handheld camera. And you immediately see how the unsteady nature of the video suggests the presence of an observer and a subjective point of view. So we've just removed the camera and transferred that movement onto the panel. So here's a video, you have to imagine the other hand, it's not there yet. But to us, we're sort of trying to evoke a self-effacing gesture, as if there's a little person sort of with outstretched arms behind this enormous piece of paper. That's sort of lying considerable amount of strain to be at the service of the observer and present this piece of paper very delicately to the viewer in front of you. The next work is a decoy. This is a cardboard model. So the object is about as tall as I am. It has a rounded body, 2 arms, and a very tall head-like antenna. And its sole purpose is to attract attention towards itself. So when a viewer passes by, it sort of tilts from side to side and moves its arms more and more frantically as the person gets closer. So here is the first test scenario. You see the two movements integrated, and the object seems to be employing its entire being in this expression of desperation. But the irony is that once it's got the person's attention, it's no longer interested, and it looks for the next person whose attention to attract. So this is the final fabricated body of the decoy. It appears to be mass manufactured, like it came out of a factory, like vacuum cleaners and washing machines. Because we are always working from a very personal space, we like how this consumer aesthetic sort of help.
I'll take you further.
The next work is an object that's also kind of sound instrument in the shape of an amphitheater that's scaled to the size of an audience as perceived from somebody from the stage. So from where I'm standing, each of you appears to be this big, and the audience sort of takes the entire field of my vision. Seated in this audience are 996 small figures. They're mechanically enabled to clap of their own free will. This means that each of them can decide if and when they want to clap, how hard, for how long, how they want to be influenced by those around them or influence others, and if they want to contribute to an ovation. So when the viewer steps in front of the audience, there will be a response. It could be a few claps or a strong applause, and then nothing happens until the viewer leaves the stage. And again, the audience will respond. It could be anything from a few feeble claps from members in the audience, or it could be a very loud ovation. So to us, I think we're really looking as an audience as its own object or its own organism that's also got a sort of musical-like quality to it, an instrument. So the viewer can play it by eliciting quite complex and very nuanced musical or sound patterns, but cannot really provoke involved. It also has an alluring and trap-like quality to it. So here, if you see, we're quite excited about the image of the head splitting to form the two hands. So here's a small visual animation as if the two sides of the brain are sort of...
I just wanted to show you that how the boring topic of motion now transforms into something so interesting, that how the motion is used to depict emotions, and how this motion is so attractive that it immediately catches our attention. But then in making all these artwork, the principles of physics are being absolutely carefully adopted, then only these things are going to work. So going further,
against
let me go to the
each
next
other.
exhibit. Now look at this particular advertisement. This is by a company which sells active water. Brand name is Active. So the way the advertisement has been shot is just amazing. And you must think that how the distance between the droplets must be so accurate to be able to make that shape. And for that, split-second calculations have to be made. The equations that we use, S equal to ut plus half at square, v equal to u plus at, and all those three equations, how they must have been used to calculate the position of each drop and turned into an amazing artwork. So this is what is the eye-popping art which is available in the world, which utilizes physics so beautifully. Now, work and energy is the next topic. Now look at these energy generation machines in style. This first one is the spherical sun power generator by Andre Broissel. So you can see that it is not just simple collection of solar power that is just a scientific process. The way it has been kept, the way it has been designed is a beauty to look at also. Then you have Elena Parusheva, where these are all dynamos which are working with the air power. The necklace is the dynamos. One dynamo is here and another one is here. But the way again they have been designed into the shape of the necklace of the woman, this is so beautiful. Another artwork by same artist, Elena Parusheva, is this sculpture, which has a functional purpose. It generates electricity, but then it is also an aesthetic one. Again, these are all the dynamos which are producing the electricity from air movement. So now in our classrooms also we can talk about energy conservation, and then these are the paintings which are beautifully depicting the idea of energy conservation. But even otherwise, even the last two arts by Elena, those kind of design work children can think, because they are simple design works which they can conceptualize in their mind and draw drawings. Then another form for work and energy. This is a stage presentation. How energy is being passed on from one particle to the next. So wonderfully, the propagation of energy has been depicted in this stage presentation. Now look at this painting. The imagination, the artist is depicting gravitational potential energy. So how do you think, can you write in the chat box that what exactly is giving us the idea of gravitational potential energy here? Any feature in this particular painting which can be connected to gravitational potential energy? Why the head is so big? And why is it cut off? Yes, height. As the head is being raised above and above, more and more energy, and that is why the head has become bigger and bigger. So look at the beautiful imagination of the artist, that gravitational potential energy, the increase of energy as you go higher, can be depicted like this. So then we go to rotational mechanics, the idea of balance. Now look at this balance that has been shown by this artwork. Then this is a very famous artist. This kind of work even our children can do beautifully. So we could have competition. easy to do by our children also. Then another way it could be done is from junk that is available. This is the jugaad from junk, which is showing the perfect balance. Then this is a tensegrity. This is another structure which is done by ice cream sticks. Now it looks so amazing that there is nothing which can balance the upper structure. But the secret lies in the way the threads are tied and the way the tension is taking the weight of the whole structure. Now I'm not going to show how it is made. You can easily see on the net, but I'll show you how in the end it can take more weight than its own weight. They've prepared it and then now see, this car is perfectly balanced on seemingly something which is not supported. A structure which seems to be hanging in the air, but then it is taking the weight of this car. So again, this is science, but wonderful art as well. Then look at this balance here. Look at the way their bodies are balanced.
Surya-koti samaprabha Nirvignam kuru me deva Sarvakareshu sarvada गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणवन्दिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणाधीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय.
So such beautiful art forms that you don't feel like stopping here. But then we have to go forward. In all these examples, the key physics concepts are what? The force. If you apply force from one side, the object moves to the right. If you apply equal and opposite force, the object would be at rest. If you can have a large torque, if you apply the force this way perpendicular, if you apply at an angle, there will be smaller torque. And if you apply force in radial direction, there is zero torque. And then you have the stability. Here the more stable, here the stability is high, here the stability is low, and this is very unstable. So these are all the principles which have gone into creation of balance, be it the balance of stones, be it the balance of tensegrity structure, be it the balance of bodies in this wonderful dance. All these are employing the concepts of physics. Then let us look at the properties of materials. Now look at this marvelous art. These are paper manipulations. Piece by piece, each paper is stuck.
I used to be a
Great
builder
mistake
developer back in
ambition.
2008 when the housing crisis was in its full. I lost my business. I had to declare bankruptcy and I had to start again. I had
It is
to
wonderful.
figure out what I was going to do with my life. I was always an artist at heart. I've always incorporated art into everything I did. And eventually, I decided that I wanted, if I was going to make a difference in life and I was going to make a difference so late in my career, that I had to create something totally radical, totally new that no one had ever seen before. In order to create my sculptures, I have to first start gluing sheets of paper into as high as I think my sculptures are going to be, normally about 3 feet. I start to carve. I take away paper by using certain tools that I've developed for this. Once I start to take away these papers and start getting the shape of the sculpture of the bust.
So do you think our children can try their hands at something like this, but little simpler shapes to begin with, right? This is very much doable by our children. Then look at this embroidery work on leaves. Now look at the amazing embroidery, which is highlighting the angle at which these veins are leaving the main vein. And here also they're highlighting these angles, how the leaves have been joined together by embroidery, but all these lines are perfectly aligned with these angles. Now, imagine the study of leaves that must have gone into this, because every leaf you cannot embroider. Some leaves are very brittle. The moment you prick the needle, they will break from there. So it is not just that you are embroidering. First, you have to observe the leaves very carefully and try out which ones are prone to getting embroidered, which will not break on embroidering. So what is the stress? What is the tension they can take? What is the pricking of the whether they can take the pricking of needle or not? All that it has to be studied, and then only this kind of artwork can be created. Then to research in the properties of materials, we held one competition called Stretch Your Imagination. The students had to research into the properties of a rubber band, design and create an artwork or poster which incorporates at least 5 rubber bands and convey a social message. The message should be inspired by any physical property of rubber bands or related physics concepts, for example, transformation of energy. The artwork should have a creative title to go with the theme and the message. Now, this is art integrated learning, where the art of poster making had certain objectives, and the objective of physics was to research into the properties of rubber bands. And both went together in this competition. And look at the prize winning entry. The child call it equality pull. On one side, there was the girl child, on the other side, there was the boy child. The girl child is being pulled down by family, education, poverty, society. The boy is being pulled up by social status, physical strength, opportunities, responsibilities. But the artist says, before we are men and women, we are people. Let's treat each other like it. So wonderfully expressed poster, but here the stretching property of the rubber band has been used. Another property the children took up was that when you heat a rubber band, instead of elongating, it contracts. And based on that also they had some posters. So this is how it met the twin purpose of research work into properties of rubber band as well as the art of poster making. Then look at the thermodynamics. These are temperature records, annual temperature records. These are 12 months, and each month as the temperature goes up or low, there is a color code which is given to the temperatures, and that's how the temperatures are recorded by this embroidery in according to that color code. Same way, once a day hexagonal temperature blanket this every day, the way the temperature changes, you have these rows of the hexagon, and then these hexagons are connected to make a blanket, and yet it is keeping the temperature record. Now, this is year-long temperature record, beautiful creation of temperature record. Then we also have an audible temperature record. Isn't it beautiful? So the frequencies are assigned to different temperatures, and then those the way the temperature changes, the frequency of sound also changes, and that's how in the sound the temperatures are recorded. Then you have this Epsom salt crystal painting done by evaporation. Something is etched by this Epsom salt while in a liquid state, and then the liquid evaporates, water evaporates, leaving behind these Epsom salt crystals. So this looks so beautiful. Then you have the thermodynamic variables. So this Hanok Piven, he created this to express pressure. So you see P of pressure. So this is a kind of inverted P, you know, this is the head of the P and this is the leg. And here also this part is swollen up. So this is higher pressure and this is lower pressure. The other thermodynamic variable is heat. So these two are the paintings by Schwartzberger, and this is by Magritte. So this is the kind of depiction of Q, that higher heat than that it can bear, the skin is burnt. And then this is the depiction of second law of thermodynamics, that never any system is fully reversible. You see, this is fed into it, ulta likha hua hai thermodynamics, and when it comes out from the other side, it has not become the correct way. All letters have not corrected themselves. E is, for example, still the other, it is laterally inverted, and this also. That means you cannot, the system is never fully reversible. So this is another beautiful way of depicting scientific concepts. Then look at oscillation and wave creations. There's this artist called Nancy Graves. She has done a pendular series inspired by simple pendulum. So both, there's a series of 7-8 creations. All are done by thread, but inspired by pendulum. Then this is the embroidery of Leah Pass, which is showing the construction of our inner ear. Then these are the deaf, and dumb people, and how they created a stage presentation. So never mind whether they can speak or not, but they can certainly create sound patterns and patterns through their actions and wonderful art. So inability can also be turned into ability to do something remarkable. Right? So this is about sound. Then the waves, the great wave. This is a world famous painting by Japanese artist Hokusai. But why I'm showing this is that now the new age has come. This is animation art, where this boy is imagining the wave and the thrill and the excitement connected to it. So our children can definitely create animation art, so tech savvy, and they are good with programming. Then modern physics. Now look at this world's smallest atom movie. This is only one of its kind created in the IBM. These are real atoms which are magnified 100 million times. It was made by moving actual atoms frame by frame. Can you imagine atom by atom this has been made? Beautiful, isn't it? Then let's go forward. Now we can also have cartoons and jokes. I'm tired of being an electron. Don't be so negative. Then never trust atoms. They make up everything. Now, what is the advantage of cartoons and jokes? That they shift your perspective. See how the perspective is being shifted. Here, this electron is talking about being an electron, being tired, and because they are incessantly moving. But suddenly, this person is talking about the charge on this. So the mental frame is shifting. And then here, you're saying about trusting an atom or not trusting an atom. Why? Because they make up everything. So on one side, we are saying that atoms make up every matter. On the other side, we are saying that they cook up things, and that is why you cannot trust them. So when why it's very important to inculcate this habit of shifting frame in the children, because shifting of mental frame only brings creativity. That suddenly you are shifting from one usage to another, totally unheard of new usage. That's how new creations are designed. So jokes are a very good way of bringing out that creativity. Then this is, I think I'm taking too much of time. Let me just not go over this dance. Let me go to optics. Now you see how beautiful a shadow has been created. This is a round ring, and you might expect the shadow to be only either a straight line or a rectangle or a oval or a circle. But then how the use of a book has been used in a novel way as a screen to create heart shape out of a round ring. Then exclamation mark has turned into a question mark just by manipulating the screen underneath. Then look at this room. Can you imagine how this beautiful scenery has come inside the room? And you can see that this is not anything pasted here. This is actually a projection. So how this has been done is in the window and everywhere they have first blocked every way the light can enter the room by putting black paper or newspapers everywhere. And then in the window, the paper that has been stuck, in the middle of that, one small hole has been created, and which is acting like a pinhole camera, and the scenery outside has been depicted here. Imagine how beautiful your classroom would look if your children can create this kind of pinhole camera in which the walls of the room are depicting the outside scenery. In fact, look at this hotel in US, which charges very high room rent just to so the people enjoy this scenery outside. They have a pinhole camera in the window, and on the curtains, this springtime is shown. And then as the winter time comes, it is the same scenery which is now projected on the wall, but now the colors of winter are there. Earlier, these were the spring colors, and now the colors are of winters. Then this can be made by our children as well easily. This is Tare Zami Par, we are calling it. So in the glass, there are 5 mirrors, and if you put the laser beam, you make it enter in such a fashion that after reflection, it creates a star. This is still not completed. The laser beam has to be shifted in such a way that the 5th arm is completed. But nevertheless, children can try out different shapes through laser art creation. Then look at this particular dance. If you did not see the heading, would you say that it is a mirror dance? feature of the dance makes you think that it is a mirror dance? Can you write in the chat box? What feature of this makes you believe that it is a mirror dance? Write in the chat box. What feature enabled you to understand lateral inversion? Very right you are. It is the lateral inversion which is depicted through their actions. Now going further in the electricity, this is jokes, ohm punning. It is called ohm punning. Now what would you say what heading would you give to this? We'll say ohm, cool ohm. This is ohm and this is cool ohm because it is wearing the specs. It has become cooler. So you have home, cool home, but the depiction is through ohm symbol. So it is ohm, cool ohm. This is Home Alone. You remember there was a movie called Home Alone. So this is a pun on that. So mobile home is mobile home. Then this is home cooking or home cooking. And this is home, sweet home. And then this is homeless. So this is another kind of artwork. This is the mad resistor, where you have resistances in shape of a man, and then you have to calculate the net resistance between A and B. So imagine getting this kind of assignments from the teacher. Then of course you have these cartoons on the resistance. Then the concert. Now you see we have a lot of waste waste electronic material lying around because so many children make the models and then those models get thrown. So out of that, if you take out these resistors, capacitors, LEDs, etc., you can have this kind of 3D imagery. This is depicting a concert. Then Peter Vogel is a 3D component sculptor which uses all these thrown away components and creates such wonderful looking wall hangings. Now, this is a remarkable art by Julie Alice Chappell. She uses again the cutouts from the used PCBs and components, and then she adds these wings to create beautiful moths and butterflies. Look at these resistances. And each artwork sells for not less than $250, $300. So there is a lot of earning in using science, and that also thrown away materials, you can turn them into such beautiful art. Then look at this magnetic effect of current. Now, this is a very famous artist. Just let me replay. Look at this. The way current is passed and the attraction between two pieces, and then the collision, and then how it makes the amplitude of oscillation bigger. So this is an installation, artistic installation, which uses the science of current and magnets. Then going further, another piece by the same artist. This is still more amazing. I'm sorry. Because of the current in the wire, magnetic field attracts this rod which is hanging, and then it goes and strikes the wire and creates the sound. And as the current is removed from flowing, switched off, it goes away. But then again the current flows and it gets attracted and creates this sound. So these are beautiful installations which utilize the principles of science, physics. Then look at these tiny dancers. This children can very easily make, and there are the three of them. So I'll go further. I'm not showing how it is to be made. Then look at this piece. This is Bruce Shapiro, where a Sisyphus machine, there is XY coordinate devices which use magnets and motorized arm to move these small balls. And as they move over the sand according to the pre-programmed coordinates, they create these patterns, and they continuously create and remove the patterns. So this is a wonderful way of doing art with magnets. Now, this is another amazing artwork. It uses electromagnet, very high voltage to create high uh, fields which pull up this ferromagnetic liquid. Such a high voltage that the ferromagnetic liquid is pulled up. There is a magnet over there around which it is sticking. Now the current is switched off and it falls gradually. This art is by Pell, and he's famous for creating beautiful artwork out of magnetic liquids. Then this magnetic sculpture, our children can be made to do very, very easily. Then look at this toy between acrylic sheet and wooden ply at the back. There are a lot of these small magnets which are repelling each other, and then you bring a bigger magnet and you change the orientation and location of all those smaller magnets. So this is a toy which our children can easily create. Then you look at this beautiful idea that you style a bustle. This skirt has been tied into a design by putting magnets inside. So it is not permanent. If you move the magnets, you can style the bustle in another way. So beautifully employed magnets. Then these are foam figures for stop motion movies, and their arms and legs, they can be folded and they can be stuck in different poses using magnets. These are all colorful magnets at different places, and you can style them in different shapes and you can create movies out of it, different frames in different poses. Then look at this artwork, Acrobat, by John Bilsborough. See, these two are magnets, so they're repelling each other, and that is why it doesn't need any other support to keep this lower one in its place. So this is a beautiful use of magnets. Then look at this magnetic curtain. These are all button magnets, and you can fold these curtains in different artistic ways as you like. So they're very flexible with your idea of folding the curtain just because magnets have been used so beautifully. And then this is suspension sculpture by Bruce Gray. And you can see these are the magnets, and then these are also the magnets or iron pieces which are attracted by the magnets, or maybe the magnets in attractive mode. And you can, the children can make such sculptures very easily. And then the last one, I'm just going to show you something amazing, and you are going to love this. So that's all from my side, and I hope that you enjoyed this particular program. And if you have any questions, I wanted that we should show the children the best which is available in the world, and how people are using science to create artwork. And it's there is a great earning, because each piece that is depicted in big musea, they fetch the artists billions of dollars. So it's not that there is no earning in science, but then you have to be able to create something totally new out of the science that you have learned. So that is the idea, and how you can simplify them into the classroom assessments. That is our challenge for the teachers. But then we can always get together with electronics teachers. Now many schools have ATL labs, and then we also have art drama teachers. So we can all collaborate and convert our physics into something which is so beautiful and enjoyable. So thank you so much.
Ma'am, actually, words are falling short for me to express how awesome and interesting the session was. The way you began the presentation was really, really thought-provoking, and we could see through the chat box that it could arouse the curiosity of all the participants. That was really an enriching experience, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Salam, sir. Shall we move on to the question answer session?
Yes, we can invite participants. They can raise their hands.
Participants can virtually raise your hands. We will unmute for you. Dushyant Sharma. Yes.
Oh, good evening, all of you. Am I audible to every one of you?
Yes, you're
Good.
audible.
Thank you so much, Pragya ma'am, for introducing such wonderful themes and ideas which we can work upon. Although we already being connected, one simple question is there. See, we have to create a basic standard, or we have to pick out certain topics that we are being dealing with in our daily concepts. Like, if suppose, for example, if I say I want to create a activity for class 9th, so what standard should I create, should I keep for the students, so that they can cope up with the activity, also they can program the activity also, and the concept is also delivered. Every like, class 9 student cannot do programming at that much of level as the class 11 students can do. Class 9 students are not exposed to magnetic properties of materials as the class 10th or class 12th students are done. So I want a certain level of features that we should take in concern while preparing an activity for a certain standard.
Yeah, so see, I think the best is to show all the different kinds of possibilities to the children, and then let them have the voice and the choice. Let them decide what they can do and what they cannot do. Why should we assume that children do not know much? We underestimate our children. And I talked in the beginning about the shadow play, right? Where we had given those four, that limerick about the lady who could travel faster than light. So that was the first time our children were doing shadow play, and the teachers all said that children will not be able to do, because it needs the writing of screenplay, it needs experimentation with the placement of objects and the placement of the light source, and never ever they have done this, and they could not even understand how the poem is to be interpreted. But then I said, you send the children to me from class 6 to class 12. Each class had to have one child in that group. So the children came to me and I explained, and after a month's time, without the help of their teachers, they presented such amazing plays that we were shocked that how they could do something like that. So my suggestion is, you show them the best, you show them the variety, and then let them do whatever they feel comfortable.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
What is to stop them from collaborating with some class 11 child? Why do we stop collaboration?
I suppose if this activity, suppose if the art integrated project is not meant for the evaluation part, then we can expose them with infinite number of things. But if suppose we are taking this AIP as a evaluatory method for one of the activities, suppose let us say I do in my school that AIP is considered to be one of the part of the evaluation process. So the students are going to have a very little amount of time and on which they can work upon. I will.
Why should you do that? Give them the art project right in the beginning of the year. Give them 5 different kind of choices and give them 8 months in which they can work
5
it out.
different kind of choices. ठीक है मैम, ठीक है. तो मतलब it would be taking a time for that.
Yeah, you give them sufficient time to put their ideas into practice. There will be trials, there will be errors, there will be failures, there will be redesigning. Then they will need to take help from people. They will have to get the resources together. But give them time for that so that they can come out with something exquisite.
Okay.
You don't want run-of-the-mill things, right?
Obviously, ma'am.
Yeah.
Learning is not that thing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the answer. Thank you, Salam, sir. And thank you, Smita, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So participants, you can clarify doubts if you have any. Ma'am has explained it explained so well that I think maybe because of that reason they don't have any doubts.
We recently had one competition. It was called One Source, Unlimited Shadows. One slide source, countless shadows. Where this was for class 8 students, where using one mobile torch and using one single bangle, they had to create countless shadows. And they came up with amazing ideas. Now, I have not shown them purposely here because I want to offer that competition to every state separately. That's why I did not want to show. Only a little bit of idea I showed there in the shadows, but I'm going to offer that competition to every state. And then you'll see you'll be amazed at the work that children can do.
Any more doubts, dear educators?
So if people want to take part in that competition, can I write my mobile number here and people can write to me? It will be Anveshika which will be conducting this competition. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
can I do that? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
please, please.
yeah. So this is my mobile number. Just a minute. To everyone. So this is my mobile number, and you can no, this is wrong. 9999030078. Yes, this is the correct mobile number. So anybody whose school wants to take part in this, you can write, you can WhatsApp to me on this mobile number, and we'll send you the competition rules.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Smita ma'am, let's wind up.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, that was once again, let me tell you, that was really an enriching experience, and there are so many takeaways that can be applied in our classrooms to make it more creative and make our children travel in the world of creative learning. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for Ms. Prakya Nopani for providing an enriching experience and guiding us to make creative classrooms through art integration. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam for all the support and guidance in bringing up the education fraternity in all possible ways. Let me remind you, certificate link and feedback link is already posted in the chat box. You can avail the certificate by filling all the necessary details. Thank you, dear participants, for your active involvement throughout the session. Thank you all. Thank you once again. Over to you, Salam, sir.
Thank you, Smita ma'am, for the nice moderation, nice help. And well, Prakya ma'am, a very engaging session, serious learning, a lot of research has gone into, and definitely all we are very much keen into the presentation. And as Smita madam has rightly said, lots of takeaways. The effort will definitely benefit all the educators. So thank you so much for offering this wonderful session. And we are very much indebted to Prakya ma'am for your selfless service and all the educators for spending your very valuable time for this particular session. I hope you will take all this away for your classrooms and implement them for the students. You can also, this video will be available. You can show this video to your counter, colleagues and the students as well, so that a lot of creativity can be enhanced, and physics learning of physics will be very easy. Thank you so, Pragya ma'am. Thank you, Smita ma'am. Thank you everybody for your time. Dushyant, you want something? Yeah, Dushyant, yeah, 1 minute. You can speak.
Thank you, sir, for letting me speak. Where does the video will appear on the YouTube channel of yours?
Yes, ExtraMile YouTube channel.
ExtraMile. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Pragya ma'am, Smita ma'am, everybody. Good night. We will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.